The world is changing. Energy needs are evolving. As we move forward, the demand for energy is not just increasing but also diversifying. The way we produce, distribute, and consume energy is undergoing a fundamental transformation. Global powers are vying for influence. The geopolitical landscape is becoming more complex, with nations striving to secure their energy futures, while also trying to assert their dominance on the global stage. In this dynamic landscape, Europe finds itself at a critical juncture. The continent is grappling with the need to balance its energy demands with sustainability goals, all while navigating a shifting geopolitical environment. Its traditional energy relationships are being challenged, demanding a reassessment of its energy future. Europe must now look beyond its historical partners and explore new avenues for energy cooperation. This is not simply about where Europe gets its energy, but about security, sustainability, and the very foundations of its future. The choices made today will have lasting impacts on the continent's economic stability and environmental health. For decades, the United States has been a key energy partner to Europe. The transatlantic energy relationship has been a cornerstone of Europe's energy strategy, providing a reliable source of oil and natural gas. But the world is no longer as simple as it once was. New players are emerging. Countries that were once energy importers are now becoming exporters, and new technologies are disrupting traditional energy markets. The energy landscape is undergoing a seismic shift. Renewable energy sources like wind, solar, and hydro are becoming more viable and cost-effective, challenging the dominance of fossil fuels. Europe is looking for new partnerships, new sources, and a new vision for its energy future. The continent is investing heavily in renewable energy projects and seeking to diversify its energy portfolio. This is a story of change, adaptation, and the constant pursuit of energy security in an uncertain world. Europe must adapt to new realities and build a more resilient energy infrastructure. The energy sector has always been a game of chess, not checkers. Strategic planning and foresight are crucial, as every move has far-reaching consequences. Every move has consequences, and long-term planning is essential. Policymakers must consider not just immediate needs, but also future challenges and opportunities. Europe's energy shift is a prime example of this strategic thinking. The continent is not just reacting to current events, but proactively shaping its energy future. It's not just about finding new suppliers, it's about building a more resilient and sustainable energy future. This involves investing in new technologies, upgrading infrastructure, and fostering innovation. A future that can withstand geopolitical shocks, economic fluctuations, and the growing urgency of climate change. The stakes are high, and the need for a stable and sustainable energy supply has never been more critical. This transformation will have profound implications, not just for Europe, but for the entire world. The ripple effects of Europe's energy decisions will be felt globally, influencing markets and policies far beyond its borders. It will redefine global energy markets, reshape geopolitical alliances, and accelerate the transition to cleaner and more sustainable energy sources. The global energy landscape is on the brink of a new era. The stakes are high, and the choices made today will determine the energy landscape of tomorrow. Europe has the opportunity to lead the way, setting an example for the rest of the world in the pursuit of a sustainable and secure energy future. The relationship between Europe and the United States has been defined by cooperation and interdependence, particularly in the realm of energy. This bond has been forged over decades through various geopolitical and economic challenges, and has evolved to meet the changing needs of both continents. Following World War II, the U.S. played a pivotal role in rebuilding Europe, including its energy infrastructure. The Marshall Plan, an American initiative, was instrumental in revitalizing war-torn European economies, ensuring that energy supplies were restored and modernized. This led to a deep-rooted energy partnership, with the U.S. becoming a crucial supplier of oil and later, liquefied natural gas to Europe. The steady flow of energy resources from the U.S. helped stabilize European economies and fostered a sense of mutual dependency. This transatlantic energy bond was strengthened by shared geopolitical interests during the Cold War. Both the US and Europe recognized the strategic importance of energy security in countering the influence of the Soviet Union. Both saw energy security as a matter of national security, and the US viewed its energy exports to Europe as a way to counter Soviet influence. This strategic alignment ensured that energy cooperation remained a priority for both sides. This reliance on U.S. energy, while beneficial in many ways, also made Europe vulnerable to fluctuations in global energy markets and political shifts in U.S. foreign policy. Any disruption in supply or changes in policy could have significant repercussions for European economies. As Europe's economies grew, so did their thirst for energy. The industrial expansion and increasing urbanization demanded a consistent and reliable energy supply to fuel growth and development. The US, with its vast reserves of natural gas, became a vital supplier of LNG to meet this growing demand. The development of LNG technology allowed for more flexible and efficient transportation of natural gas across the Atlantic. The development of LNG terminals on both sides of the Atlantic solidified this energy partnership, enabling the US to ship vast quantities of this fuel to European markets. These terminals became critical infrastructure, ensuring that energy supplies could be maintained even during times of crisis. This trade became a cornerstone of the transatlantic relationship, underpinned by economic interests and a shared vision of energy security. The agreements and partnerships formed around energy trade have had lasting impacts on diplomatic and economic relations. However, the world is constantly in flux. The dynamics of global energy markets and international relations are ever-changing, influenced by technological advancements, political developments, and environmental concerns. What seems like an enduring partnership today can be reshaped by unforeseen events and evolving priorities. The energy landscape is subject to disruptions, whether from geopolitical tensions, natural disasters, or shifts in policy. The energy landscape is no different. As the world moves towards more sustainable and renewable energy sources, the traditional energy infrastructure is undergoing significant changes. As the 21st century unfolds, factors such as the shale gas revolution, climate change concerns, and geopolitical shifts are forcing Europe to rethink its energy strategy and seek greater diversification in its energy portfolio. The push for renewable energy and the need to reduce carbon emissions are driving this transformation. The era of unquestioning reliance on a single supplier, even a close ally like the US, is giving way to a more pragmatic and diversified approach. European policymakers are increasingly focused on building a resilient and sustainable energy system that can adapt to future challenges and opportunities. The world watched in shock as Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022 sent shockwaves through the global energy market, disrupting supply chains and causing prices to skyrocket. Europe, heavily reliant on Russian natural gas for heating, electricity, and industrial processes, faced an unprecedented energy crisis that threatened its economic stability and everyday life. This event served as a stark wake-up call, exposing the vulnerabilities of depending on a single supplier, particularly one with geopolitical ambitions that could clash with Europe's own. The need for diversification became glaringly obvious. The crisis triggered a scramble for alternative energy sources, but it also illuminated a deeper shift that was already underway. Europe began to seriously reconsider its energy strategy, looking for more sustainable and secure options. Europe's energy relationship with the US, while historically strong and beneficial, faced new challenges in this evolving landscape. The dynamics of global energy markets were changing rapidly. The shale gas boom in the US had indeed made it a major LNG exporter, but it also led to increased competition for market share, with Asian markets often willing to pay higher prices, making it harder for Europe to secure affordable supplies. Moreover, the US's own geopolitical priorities were evolving. The focus was shifting towards the Indo-Pacific region, where strategic interests and alliances were becoming more critical. The emphasis on the Indo-Pacific region, coupled with a growing drive for energy independence, meant that Europe could no longer take its energy partnership with the US for granted. The US was looking to balance its own needs and strategic interests. The US, while still a reliable partner, was no longer the only game in town. Europe had to look elsewhere to ensure a stable and sustainable energy future. This realization coincided with a growing awareness of the urgency of climate change. The environmental impact of fossil fuels was becoming increasingly unacceptable to European citizens and policymakers. Europe has been at the forefront of the global push for renewable energy and emissions reduction. The continent's commitment to sustainability was driving significant investments in wind, solar, and other renewable energy sources. This commitment to sustainability meant looking beyond fossil fuels, even those supplied by allies like the US, and accelerating the transition to a greener energy future. Europe was determined to lead by example in the fight against climate change. In this context, Europe's decision to diversify its energy sources was not merely a reaction to geopolitical events, but a strategic imperative driven by a confluence of factors: the need for energy security, the economic realities of a competitive global market, and the moral obligation to address climate change. Diversification was seen as the key to a resilient and sustainable energy system. This diversification strategy involves seeking new energy partnerships with countries around the world, investing heavily in renewable energy sources, and promoting energy efficiency measures to reduce overall demand. Europe was charting a new course towards a more secure and sustainable energy future, one that would be less vulnerable to external shocks and more aligned with its environmental goals.